Thank you, Mr Deputy Speaker, and I'm pleased to be able to respond on behalf of the opposition in this important debate. I would like to say from the outset that we support this important bill and we see it as a very welcome step forward. Domestic abuse has an appalling impact on women and families. As my right honourable friend, the Shadow Home Secretary, said, everyone should have the right to live in freedom from fear. Mr Deputy Speaker, this bill will make some welcome changes to the law which will protect parents, children and indeed wider families who are the victims of domestic abuse. And I would like to pay tribute to the Honourable Member for Hastings and Rye for her work on this very important bill, and indeed to thank members from across the House for their support today. I would also like to thank all those who've campaigned on this very important issue, and in particular I would like to thank Refuge and Gingerbread, and in my own constituency, in my own area, Berkshire Women's Aid. Mr Deputy Speaker, turning first to the bill itself, as I mentioned before, we support this important piece of legislation. However, I do hope that the Government will be able to clarify some important points to reassure survivors, and indeed that it will consider going further to do more to help former partners, children and wider families in a number of other ways that are related to the bill. Mr Deputy Speaker, first, turning to points of clarification, I hope that the Minister will be able to explain what evidence will be required to allow the Secretary of State to collect child maintenance payments in the way that we've heard earlier. We've been told that this evidence will be set out in secondary legislation, and it's important to remember that the effectiveness of this bill hinges on the evidence requirements in these regulations. It would indeed be very helpful if the Minister could reassure the House about the nature of the evidence that will be needed.